Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Ron. Ron's Archery. I'm having that Tim Horton Cappuccino. It is so good. I think I always say that. Okay, this might be one of the last few mornings I can come outside and sit and do a podcast. Skies are clear today. It's relatively cool out here though. I was up at 7 a.m. trying to figure out how to shut off the alarm. It was on the Echo Show. All I had to do is say stop, and it stopped. Got up early so I could run up to Walmart. I did a walk through every single aisle. I keep seeing on YouTube where people in other states and cities are talking about their Walmarts having empty shelves. All the shelves were stocked pretty much, but it was so obvious. You'd have an aisle where there was normally from as high up as I could reach to the floor and maybe 30 feet long, nothing but soups. The only thing on those shelves today were ramen noodles. Box after box after box of ramen noodles. And that's not counting the other places throughout the store where you found boxes of ramen noodles. And out in the center aisle, they have these huge, they're almost 4 foot square, and they have nothing but popcorn or Mexican pops that generally I don't see in there except on the Coke shelf with a few bottles. The store looks full, but when you get to looking, it's really not. People were busy putting things on the shelves, but I was watching one girl, and she would see an empty spot and she would walk back around to the other aisle. She'd come back around with some items to sit on the shelf toward the front just to make it look like there was something there. I went to the soup section. We're pretty well stocked up on soups, but I looked for things with meat in them, like stew. I picked up 4 cans of stew and 4 cans of chicken and dumplings. These are cans I've never seen in the store before. In fact, I haven't seen them anywhere. Just so we'd have some variety. I found I didn't check it. It's probably 20 to 25 pound bag of jasmine rice. I love jasmine rice. It is so good. Shelby can't eat the rice. It spikes her blood sugar, but when a person gets desperate enough for food, they'll eat rice. And she could have a little bit of rice mixed in with beans or other foods like corn and veggies. What was I picked up the other day? I picked up 4 cans of spinach. You know, like you just put it in a pot and heat it up and serve it. When I was growing up, I hated spinach. When I lived in the South, in South Carolina, Florida, spinach was sort of a staple at food bars. I learned to eat spinach, but it needed to have something in it, like some potatoes and some seasoning, or at least lots of vinegar. Shelby looked at it. I said, I know you don't like spinach. She said, I know, if we get desperate enough, I'll eat it. You'll eat it because it's got the iron in it. That's right. It's hard for me to buy and stock foods for us because of her blood sugar problems. So she tends to buy special things for her diet, things that I wouldn't necessarily eat. However, like she gets something called carbon something, and she can get pancakes and pastas and stuff that she can't eat a little bit of. However, she got some weird brand of something or other the other day, and she's going to make pancakes and sausage last night. So she called me in there. She's so upset. She tried to fix these little pancakes and they burnt in the skillet. They stuck to this. I like to ever cleaned out the iron skillet, and they stunk to high heavens. Oh, they were just horrible. So that was wasted. So she has to experiment with different foods to come up with something we can both eat. Because sometimes she comes up with something that I just absolutely cannot eat. I walked around the tool section, paint section, and I picked up 7 more 5-gallon buckets and 8 lids. Go through a lot of those. Every time they put them out and I see them, I grab a bunch. Picked up a 5-gallon water can that sits about 2.5 feet high, and it's about, I don't know, 3 inches thick. It's flat on each side, so it's easy to store. I'm having to come up with different ways to store water. When you buy the flats of water in the stores, they're not expensive. But when you consider the water that we drink, I go to the windmill and I pay 25 cents a gallon for water. So if you figure out a flat typically has 5 gallons, it's $1.25, and we're paying double and triple that when you buy the flats, and they're hard to store. So I'm trying to cut back on buying those, and I want to pour some of those off into the water jugs to save. And now I'm taking the empty water bottles, the little water bottles. I've started to drink from those to rotate that out and pour a bit of the big container. And I'm going to refill those bottles with our tap water and set them up on a shelf outside on a shelf in the laundry room. I could store them up in there and have they could drink them or use them for other purposes, washing, cleaning, whatever. I was in the aisle with oil and filters, and I asked the guy if their supply started running low, and he said, yeah, it's getting hard for us to get oil in here. I just got a few filters in today, but I don't know if I'll get more in after this order. Which brought to mind, yep, hit me pretty hard last night, all the prepping that I do, and the guy was talking about you need to get your oil and filters for your car. The last time I went up here, I couldn't get air filters. When they changed the oil, they do the oil air filters, and they didn't have those, and the price had gone up. From the time I went up there and did one car, went back up with the same exact model of the other car, and it was $15 more. Just in the matter of 30 minutes, the price got up $15. And I was just thinking this morning, I didn't do the truck that day. I thought I did the truck. I guess I didn't do the truck, so I got to go do the truck. But what's going to happen when you go up to get your oil changed and they don't have the oil? They don't have filters. I'm afraid we're coming down to the point where we're going to be parking our cars and not using them because we're not going to be able to get parts to keep them up. I was concerned about gas, but I bought extra gas cans, 3 and 5 gallon gas cans, and I'd been putting gas in those, storing them, but I mean, gas is only going to stay good for so long, and the gas that we get has ethanol in it, and that really goes bad when it sits around, even if you use stabilizer. So I've sort of backed off on that. I've got to keep enough out there to run the gas generator if I need it, which is one reason I wanted this canopy out here, so I could set it outside the back door and run it for short periods of time. I even thought maybe I should go buy a bicycle just so we could get around. I thought, yeah, but with my health conditions, I probably don't need to be on a bicycle either. What are you going to do when you can't drive your vehicle? You can't get parts for them. They're wanting us to stop driving our cars anyway. Well, this is going to force us into that situation. I'm sitting here looking straight out to the backyard, and I've got a flock of doves out there. I told Shelby one day, you know, I feed the birds out there, and sometimes I count 15, 20 doves out there. I said, if I had to, I'd go out there and shoot a couple of doves. I could get at least one before they'd fly away, but in the course of the day, I might get one, and that would be one dove, one meal for one person. Dad, no, you can't kill your birdies. Well, if it gets to be bad enough, we might need to do that. It's not like I could go hunting around here. Yeah, there's probably 15 doves out there right now. It's the Walmart. You got a huge toy section going. There's more Christmas trees than I've ever seen. What they're doing is they're an entire section that they don't have the product. They set these huge junk boxes out, and they have them crammed full of stuff they want to get rid of. And I heard one of the girls at the back electronics department, she was talking about their Black Fridays are going to run, I think she said 3 Fridays in November. She was concerned they may not have too much to sell in December. I've tried to buy everything archery related that I need so I could make more arrows when I need to. I could repair the arrows I have. I have plenty of targets to shoot at. I love shooting at the pink and the blue paper plates, and I've got pink and blue and red cups to shoot at. I've got a good supply of tennis balls to shoot at. So archery wise, I got pretty good supply. Now, there goes more doves. I swear they're going to eat up all the seeds out there I put out for the little birdies. That's one of the things I get kind of concerned about is all these people with COVID. I come home and I start coughing and I think, oh my God, am I getting COVID? But because I have asthma and I have a heart condition, I do have a problem about coughing and trying to clear my throat. Go ahead, walk on up in there around my archery targets. You'll be a good target for me. And you know what? You're close enough. I might get one shot off and hit you once. But when I shoot an arrow and it goes pop in the target, they all fly away. So I'd get one shot. On the other hand, I have several pellet guns, pellet rifles out here that I can sit here and I could drop a dove pretty easy from this distance. Got nice scopes on them. That brings to mind, what are you going to do to protect yourself when the poo hits the fan? I live in a neighborhood with largely Hispanics and Mexicans. It's not a low-income side of town, but everybody around here works, I think. But what's going to happen when people start breaking into homes, breaking into yards? I've got signs all the way around my fence. I live on a corner, so I have the alley that comes back up this way, and right here where I am, which is even with the front of the house. I've got signs up saying no trespassers. Put a motion light up out front. I put up a brighter light on the front porch last night. And maybe I need to put one out there that's motion activated to scare them off. A lot of people out here have fallen for the security systems in their houses. I don't trust those companies that come around like that. Tarps. Yep. I've accumulated several tarps in case I need those. Got them to cover up archery targets out here, cover this stupid canopy, because I'm sure this canopy, this tarp, is just going to become like tissue paper as it sits out here in the sun. When it falls apart, I don't think I'll cover it again. I'll just begin stripping this section out, because in the spring I intend to bring the metal canopy back this way so I don't have to worry with a tarp canopy caving in on me. Let's see what else. I sat down out here last night and started to tell some stories, and the rechargeable light that I used cut off. And then the light up here over the back door, motion detector, it would come on, then waste 20 seconds, then it cuts off again. It's so nice I never forgot what it's like to come out early in the morning. I need to go to Lowe's and buy a hot water tank to store here for when ours goes out. I know that I'd have one, but the problem with that is if I buy one, the warranty's going to go out. So then you have the plumbers come out and hook it up, that there's a problem with it, you're not under warranty. When I first moved into the house, my wife had recently divorced her husband of many years, and she had an extra hot water tank sitting out in the shed, and our water tank went out, and I said, well, you got a tank out there. Oh, I forgot about that. And we had it hooked up. It worked fine. So I'm thinking maybe I'll go ahead and take a chance, go over and buy one, and have it here as an emergency. The trouble is, when I look at the reviews on these Rheem hot water tanks, a lot of people complaining about parts on top that are melting, and obviously they're not big manufactured with high quality like they must have been at one time. And I think that's going to be typical of what we're going to buy from here on. Things that we normally would buy that they're relatively good, I think we'll get inferior products now. The U.S. is not set up to manufacture the things that we normally get from China, Taiwan, the Philippines. If you take everything that comes from China, the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, out of the Walmart, it would be virtually empty. I mean, I don't care what it is. I'm wearing a shirt that I should be able to buy here locally because it's cotton. I'm a half a mile, maybe a mile from where they store bales of cotton in these huge metal buildings. So we grow cotton here. Can I buy a locally made cotton product? No. We ship it to China, the Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan, and then it comes back to us on those cargo ships that are sitting out in the bay right now, not being loaded. And I heard a report last night about a guy that ordered a pair of shoes on Amazon. The shoes came in, and when he opened up the box, the shoes were all moldy. They had mold all over them. It stuck to high heavens. Obviously, they'd been sitting on those ships out at sea for months. Just think of all the cargo ships that are out there, all those cargo containers that have electronic products. Don't you know those are going to go bad by the time they hit the stores? So I've been trying to go ahead and buy things in advance and hoping that they are good. My buddy. It's my buddy. I think it'll be nice enough today that I can come out and do a video shoot. not going to do any 50 arrows, and I'm not going to do 100 arrows. Somebody's talking about the deer seeker the other day. I thought, I haven't shot that deer seeker out here for a while, so I may get the deer seeker bow out and shoot it, just to be doing something a little bit different. Well, I finished my coffee. Appreciate those of you that stop in and watch my videos and watch my podcast, and I appreciate your comments. I try to catch up to the comments every few days. As of last night, I was caught up, so I don't know what will be waiting for me today. So thanks for watching, and look forward to talking to you again on another Coffee with Ron. Have a good day. Fling some arrows.